What types of property can buy using SMSF?
There are some restrictions with their guidelines as such. So in general, it has to be a sole purpose test. Whatever investment you do, it has to be the sole purpose of paying for your retirement. So that's one thing from the government tax guidelines. So one thing they cannot do is buy a land and develop on the land and build a house. As far as I know, again, things might change later, but as of now. So it has to be one contract. So if you're buying house and land, it has to be on one contract. So that way it's easier. But apart from that, technically they should be able to buy a lot of different types of properties. It can be apartments, it can be commercial property, it can be houses, townhouses. But as I mentioned, developments are not permitted. So repairs are permitted. So you can, if the house you already have needs a repair, you can do that. But developments as such are not permitted. One option is to buy like with a single contract. If you're buying a house and land, it has to be a single contract. That way, it's under the guidelines of the tax office.
Do you recommend an already built house or a land and house package for SMSF investment properties?
Okay, this is a good question. A lot of people I talk to, they have very, very strong opinions. Some people are very strong and say you have to buy apartments, they're great. And some people have a very strong opinion and say house and land is the best. Some people are very strong in a commercial property. My view is that they all are they all have advantages and they all have disadvantages. The best is to look at what benefits or advantages they have and what disadvantages they have. Then you will be in a better position to see what best suits your own needs. Somebody wants to buy like a house and land, and chances are they may not have enough money to buy a house and land. So the option would be to go to a townhouse or maybe to an apartment. So that can be one deciding factor. So even though they'd like house and land, they may not be able to. So this is another option. On the other hand, some people say apartments are very bad because there's strata. The way I look at it is, yes, there is strata, but strata covers a lot of things as well. Like for example, it pays for your, the overall insurance for the property. They do have sinking fund so that in future there is a problem, they cover that. They do have the maintenance, the money collected for the maintenance. So if something goes wrong and boom, gate not working or something like that, it covers. Again, it's for the overall property, not specific to your apartment, but in general, strata covers a lot of things. They have to see what is covered in strata. On the other hand, you may be eligible for higher depreciation in an apartment because apartment might have other amenities like pool and gym and lift and other things. So your depreciation component could be higher. The other thing is your rental yield could be higher compared to a house and land. The other thing could be it's easier to buy and easier to sell, more like a commodity as opposed to a house and land. So there are benefits and negatives in both. So it all depends on what they are looking for. As I mentioned, the depreciation could be higher, maybe capital growth could be lower in an apartment. On the other hand, in a house, depreciation could be lower, capital growth could be higher. So they just have to weigh their options and see which one suits their needs. There's nothing like one size fits all. But in general, capital growth wise, house and land has done well for me, and cash flow wise or the yield wise, apartments have done well for me. So if I'm looking for yield, or my amount is less, I might go for an apartment. If I have more disposable income and if I'm more interested in the capital growth, I might go for a house and land. So that's my strategy.